You can't give what you don't have. When you are talking about integrity, you are really talking about the real person, who that person is.
When you talk of integrity, you talk of honesty. To be honest. And to be honest means to be trustworthy, to be truthful. And politics is science and art of government.
Politics is about the people.
Yes.
And if you talk about it in a deeper sense, it has to do with how people take decision on how to lead themselves.
Hello viewers, you are welcome to another interesting episode of your favorite program, Christian in Politics, on your darling station, Anglican Cable Network Nigeria, ACNN. The history of democratic election in Nigeria, especially ones that will be adjudged and accepted by the electorates, are free and fair, had always been a problem in the country. In 1960, shortly after Nigeria's independence, there was a transition from a colonial rule to the country's first ever election process. However, it's a common knowledge that Nigeria's electoral process has persistently come short the glory of what the electoral process should mean for a democratic society. Since its attainment of independence in 1960, Nigeria has been tormented by political instability, fueled largely by an electoral process in crisis. The country and our leaders have refused to learn from history and avoid the pitfall of past mistakes in order to pave the way for a secure political future. Instead, the electorates and politicians alike have continued to perpetuate the worst form of our political processes, characterized by ugly incidents of political thuggery and violence. Electoral malpractices both at political party level and general election, unending lawsuits, crisis of legitimacy, instability, and coerce over the period of Nigeria's existence as an independent nation-state. All these negative attributes of our political processes have often provided compelling reasons for military adventurists to seize power from its civilian collaborators. The 1999, 2003, and 2007 election, three elections conducted during this period of the 10 years of Nigeria democracy have been lampooned by many crises and critics as far from free and fair, in fact. The election of April 2007, conducted by the existing electoral body, that's the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, under the leadership of the then Professor Morris, who has been described as the worst election ever held in this country as a result of indescribable irregularity, which marred the election. Perhaps the freest and fairest election in the history of Nigeria was the June 12 in 1993 that was annulled by the then General Ibrahim Babangida, who was the then self-styled military president of Nigeria. The Abubakar Abdulsalami military regime had midwifed the transition program to the Third Republic that ushered the present democratic, hurriedly put together a new constitution which defined a new electoral process for the country and inserted the word independent into the name of the electoral body and renamed it Independent National Electoral Commission, granting the commission the power to register political parties and conduct elections. The rest, they say, is history, as the performance of the Independent National Electoral Commission has shown that it is everything but independent. Electoral mayhem, violence, polling irregularities, and various forms of inconsistency have again brought pressure on the Nigerian government and its political class to offer remedial action to our electoral problem. The latest in the past over a year is the inconclusiveness of the election, which is causing some states not to be fully represented at the federal level. We only hope this is put to an end at this election in Edo and Ondo states to possibly add to the dwindling confidence in the electoral body. This year is to witness governorship election in 2 states of Nigeria, Edo and Ondo states, which happens to be 2 states sharing borders with each other. While Edo is governed by the ruling APC, Ondo is governed by the opposition PDP. Edo is an highland state in the southern Nigeria. Its capital is Benin City. It is bounded in the north and east by Kogi State, in the south by Delta State, and in the west by Ondo State. Edo State consists of 18 local government areas. Just taking a brief look at the governorship history of the state, the 1992 gubernatorial election pitting John Odigi Oyegun, the SDP candidate, was annulled on 4th of the year by the Electoral Tribunal. Among Igbinedian's claim were that the Oba of Benin and one of the chiefs unfairly supported Oyegun. Oyegun's victory was upheld on 18th March 1992. On 28th March 2008, an election tribunal nullified the election of Osumbo, who was a PDP candidate then and a governor of Edo State, and declared the erstwhile Labour leader, Comrade Adams Oshiomhole, who is presently the governor of the state of the Action Congress, the winner. The decision was based on several voting irregularities. Oshiomhole was voted for a 2nd term in 2012. For this election in Edo, here is the list of the candidates as displayed on your screen now, and their running mates. They are numbering about 19 in number, and today we'll be discussing more on the topic called "Election is not a war," using Edo State as a case study. And with me to discuss this topic today is Venerable J.O. Hunuanya, JP, Director Civic and Political Affairs, Church of Nigeria, and the Chaplain to the National Assembly. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you.
And on ground in Edo State is Mr. Victor Ebome, a media and political consultant. I can also tell the viewers, all of you, that you can also join the conversation right by sending us mail at ACNNTV at gmail.com and on our Facebook page at ACNNTV. You can always be in touch to make your contribution to whatever we have discussed here on this program. Venerable, looking at the history of the election process in Nigeria, as we have seen or as we have just read, what's your view about electioneering process in this country?
Well, we have made some bit of progress. When we were still young, we were told about how Action Group and NCNC did it in the time past. It's not that we have really moved very far, but it will be unfair to say that some progress have not been made. On the part of the electoral body, so much has happened over the years. We've tried to streamline things and to make the process simpler and something workable.
You've been part of
election
monitoring
observation. Yes, election observation.
Yes, over the years. And could you just let us know, possibly there is something the government is not putting in place in terms of the whole process as a whole? Because an election that should be said to be free and fair should be possibly have less of cost cases and less of violence, less of malpractices. But over time, although just like you said, it has improved. But looking at where the country ought to be as the giant of Africa, what are the things that the government are yet to put in place?
You know, when I said we have made some progress, I said it with all due sense, and what we see today as the number of court cases coming up after election and all that is not necessarily a reflection of the fact that the process is not good enough. It is a reflection of the fact that democracy is gradually taking its course. People can now freely argue for their own right without any fear or favor. I mean, or threats. That is what is really playing out, and the process has been streamlined in such a way now that even the actors now know their rights. They can easily identify when their rights have been infringed upon. And the environment is more or less becoming so liberalized, especially from the last administration of Goodluck Jonathan, President Goodluck Jonathan. A lot was done in that direction. So I don't want to see the number of court cases only from the negative perspective. It's also a reflection of the fact that things are being streamlined, and it's now making people to know when their rights is encroached upon, and the political environment generally in the country is having more of enlightenment, so people are able now to go to court to demand for their rights.
Some people are even of the opinion that the court cases are increasing because of selfishness of some of the players in terms of not wanting to give up. Just like
we cannot rule out that. A good case study is the senatorial election in Abia State, won by Senator Mao Owanboa, where the former governor of the state contested with him. He won, and he took him to the tribunal. At the end of the day, he won him at the tribunal. He went for appeal, and at appeal, maybe because of one influence, is the former governor have a lot of influence in that very area. The appeal court nullified the whole process and said, go and start again. And they went back, went to the poll, did the election. At the end of the day, after the election for 1 week or so, they were finding it difficult to declare the result because there was pressure. And when it was eventually declared, this same man won. That is Senator Mao Owanboa. And the governor have gone to court again. To tribunal again. And they are there now. I think they have got it to the stage now where they are awaiting the judgment of the tribunal. So don't be surprised that after the judgment in the tribunal, if it's not in favor of the government, may want to go to appeal again, which to me is not good for our system. It involves a lot of wastages. If you have to repeat the process which you have gone through before, you know what it means.
The government spent a lot.
The government spends, the individual spends, time is wasted, and all that. So partly people are greedy, but on the general note, I feel people are more aware of their fundamental human right, and people now feel they can address their cases with the legal process on ground and expect to have justice. And I think that is more of the incentive.
I feel that the legal aspect of it is another topic on its own.
No, if we go to that, it's another ball game entirely. Whether the judiciary is doing the right thing or the wrong is another. It's a story for another day.
That is another story, because what we see today, especially in the last few months ago of
the judiciary need to put their house in order. There's no doubt about that. I've had cause to speak on this on a different occasion, that one of the problems we are having today is even the judiciary. they need to tidy up things. They need to put their house in order.
Before we, what is in the preamble of this episode? We were talking about the independency of the umpire, which is majorly lying with INEC, and they are practically called independent. How independent?
Before the administration of Jonathan, I'm not too sure whether INEC was independent, but we give kudos to that man. President Goodluck Jonathan gave INEC free hand to operate. I was working very closely with Professor Atahiru Jega, so I can tell you that that man operated freely without any hindrance. And I did see the government putting so much of pressure on INEC. If there was any pressure, we would have known, because we always go there. We are on the field during observation. Even before election, there are a series of meetings, seminars, and forums where we meet and interact with government, with security agencies, and with the personnel of INEC. I can tell you, an insider will tell you that during President Goodluck Jonathan, INEC, to a large extent, enjoyed independence. I only pray that we don't go back.
Oh.